So, as you guys know, my name is Wahab Yusufi, and the chapter that I was given to talk and discuss is called The Silent Way of Teaching. It's called The Silent Way of Teaching.
Okay. You call that?
No, he's being silent.
He is teaching us by having us discuss what could this be, the silent way.
Exactly, good point.
Oh.
Next thing. So,
Good.
who can tell me what is the silent way of teaching?
I'm assuming that the teacher is silent until you make everyone feel awkward enough to say an answer to you.
That's a good point. Good point. Yes.
I'm assuming it goes along with the phrase, if silence is golden, then duct tape is silver.
I assume nothing. I am guessing that it is the role of the teacher is not authoritative. They are even necessarily, like, in a way, kind of sort of facilitator. It's more that here I am, you guys just go.
Excellent. Yes. That's exactly what it means. The silent way of teaching is the name of a method of language teaching created by Caleb Gattegno in 1963. And this is Caleb Gattegno. Is this how you guys pronounce his name? How would you guys?
Gattegno?
Gattegno?
That's a
Gattegno?
different language.
Natalie, how would you pronounce that name?
Gattegno.
I don't know how to
I
pronounce
think
his
it's
name.
Gattegno.
It's Italian. So.
He's Egyptian, born on November 11, 1911 in Egypt. He died on July 28, 1988 in Paris, France. And this is him in his famous quote which says, "I don't teach, I let them learn." It's exactly what you mentioned before. He was a very well-educated guy. He was known for the silent way method. He created words in color, and he was known for mathematics. As a matter of fact, he was one of the most influential mathematics educators of 20th century. So very well-educated guy. His method is based on the idea that the teachers should be silent as much as possible during their classes. However, on the other hand, the students or learners should be encouraged to produce as much language as possible. How many of you guys encourage your students?
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Honestly, this might look pretty bad if we.
Yes.
Thought about
Vicky, how do you encourage your students?
By praising them when they answer a question correctly.
Very good. What vocabularies do you use?
Great job!
Great job. Okay, and you?
I act crazy.
You act crazy? Okay, Rosma?
I encourage my students by giving them the opportunity to answer the questions I ask of them. So if I ask them a question and they're like, "Teacher, I don't know," I'm like, "Come on, you know, we talked about it," and my voice gets all high, and I figure out a way for them to answer.
Show emotions. Be excited. Hey, give me a high five. It doesn't matter if it's online. They understand that.
yeah.
High five. Yeah.
Dab for me.
Yeah, do a dab for me. Do a monkey dance. So anyway, so the students or learners should be encouraged, and they are the ones that should carry the classes, not the teachers. Next, this is another famous quote by Benjamin Franklin, which supports the idea of silent teaching, which says, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn." So try to involve your students in your classes. Simple as that. And according to them, mistakes are very important and necessary for learning, which I agree, which Natalie mentioned in her presentation. And don't stop your students from making mistakes. Let them make their own mistakes, and then be there to correct them. Yes? Simple. And no matter how many mistakes they make or how slow they progress, they are still learning, they are still trying. More importantly, they are ahead of every other student who's not trying. And what are the advantages? The use of the silent way of teaching allows a very high degree of communication between the students themselves. So what happens? They learn from one another. Additionally, it increases the participation of the students in class without the help of the teacher. More importantly, through silent method of teaching, students are expected to become what?
Fluent.
Fluent, very good. They become responsible, creative, and they discover more. When they discover more, it leads to confidence, and confidence leads to discussion and engagement in classes. And next, disadvantages of the silent method of teaching. The silent way of teaching is often criticized of being a harsh method. The students work in isolation, and communication is lacking badly between teachers and their students. So there's not much communication between them. And conclusion. The main goal of this method is to let the students practice the language, not the teacher, which is very obvious. However, as a teacher myself, this method will not work for us.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
Not in Korea.
It's because we are teaching Korean students, one, and they're too young. Yes. And if I have to be honest with you guys, I don't believe in these methods at all. I believe in hard work and good teachers. As good teachers, it's our responsibility to go out of our way to find the correct way to teach our students. Anything that suits for me and my students, that is the correct way. There's no right method and wrong method.
Principle
That's
and
it.
colloquialism.
Yeah. I'm done, I think. Am I?
So what do you
Nice.
think about this, method?
It's sort of as an ideal, it sounds nice. Classroom control is impossible for students that I would, for most students I would encounter ever. Because if we did attempted the silent method, I'd sit there, they'd sit there. Eventually, they'd just start talking to each other in Korean.
Right.
They would not speak English to each other.
Right.
No.
No.
Level 5s might, if they're like higher level, like sometimes.
Here's the thing. If they are not forced to do stuff here, they're not going to do it.
Yep.
Like if they're sitting there and you're like, all right, now talk. They'll just be like,
He said that to 14-year-old me, I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't talk
really.
either.
It's not a country-specific thing. It's-
Yeah. I think,
here specifically because they don't like to speak.
yes.
They don't like to make mistakes in general. So if they're put in a situation where they feel like they might be wrong about something or they might make a mistake, they'd rather not do it at all. And
Right.
they'll just sit there.
This method might work for grown-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
it depends.
Yeah.
Adults.
Maybe you can, the teacher can your student, to discover something, right? To solve some problems. So the teacher really are silent and students, they try to figure out, some problems. I think that's gonna be helpful. But this method is gonna be really ineffective when you try to help students to develop their communication skills.
Right.
It's
Right.
not gonna work.
Yes.
Naoki, from the Korean's perspective, how do you deal with the fear of failure? That's because as Rosemary was mentioning, or was saying, it's like something that I see a lot is the terror of being wrong, of messing up, of embarrassing
Yeah,
themselves.
because from Korean perspective, right? In Korean culture, they don't make a mistake in front of people because they think that they lose face.
Yes.
So how do you avoid that as an educator, or what methods did you?
Actually, how can I say? Just I asked them, how can I say? If it is really hard, question, hard, problem to solve, right? It's not gonna work, for them. So it's really frustrating. So maybe I can use them a little different, how can I say? Different. I can provide different materials, which is a little bit easier for them to solve the problem.
So you try to break tasks, like if a task might be difficult, you try to break it down into easier steps, and that way it's like, step 1, that was easy. Step 2, it's easy. Step 3, it's easy. Step 4, 5 steps in, we're done. Look at that, like that.
Yeah, so they can feel some accomplishment at first, and then we can move on to the upper steps. I think that's one of the ways when
I'm very curious as to how y'all learn math. That's because it seems like a lot of students have to deal with math, and I find that to be a very difficult subject.
Right, right.
I would imagine a lot of risk of face loss.
Right.
Can I say, if I to put sense in, it's a kind of paradoxical. So the old golden saying that speech is silver and gold, silence is gold. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Silence is golden.
Yeah, silence is gold. Yeah, it's kind of teaching method. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't feel good, right? So you gotta leave.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. So we're gonna take.